Yes, bitch, yes, with Tiffany, where conversation rules the nation.
Hello and welcome to Yes, Bitch, Yes. I am excited about this episode. I have a very special guest to introduce you to. And before I get started, let me tell you who Miss Chanel Howell is. She may be known from Survivor. Or more recently, she may be known for her performance on the Challenge USA Season 2, where she was runner up. Or you may have seen some of her famous TikTok content from everything to hair to beauty to travel. Well, Chanel is recently celebrating her anniversary for her own startup venture, thus adding the title entrepreneur to her resume. Chanel is not just my friend because of reality TV. She's my friend because we're both Leos. No, I'm just kidding. She is authentic, she is genuine, she is ambitious, she is brutally honest, and she is not just my friend, she is my sister. And there is so much more that I could tell you about her, but we have her here today and we'll just let her tell us herself. Welcome, Miss Chanel Howell. Hi, beautiful.
Hi, Tiffy. That was actually so nice. Was that off the dome or was that like written out? Because that was
I,
so good.
I won't tell, as long as you liked it. That's the only thing that matters is that I didn't get anything wrong.
No, it was perfect. That was great. Like that was, I mean, I'm not worthy, but thank you for
Yes, you
having me.
are. Of course. You know, um, we have so many things in common. And Chanel, we can get on the phone and we can chat for hours and we'll just fill in everything from work to play to life to love to the hottest tea. But
Yeah.
one of the things that I like to do here on Yes Bitch Yes is to just be transparent and allow people to get to know who we are as people. I like to say, people think about us as being like these reality TV personalities or public figures, and we are now, but we were someone before we got to that point. The who we are is the reason why we made it to that point. We are not the people CBS made, we are the people that CBS wanted. So there's a reason why they wanted us.
Talk your shit. I love it.
There's a reason why they wanted us. And so a lot of times we get caught up in the um well, I can't do this because, people are gonna, and I don't want to say because people are gonna. And then I feel like we get boxed into this personality type or how we have to present ourselves. And we don't get to share our real truth, our real life situations that we go through. It's not like we're robots and everyone else is human, or we're living this type of life and everyone else goes through these situations. We all face the same situations. We may have different resources for overcoming those situations, but a lot of times we don't. It's the same as the people who have never been on TV. So this platform I like to use to allow us to share who we really are as people, and not just what did you do on the challenge? What did you do on Survivor? I mean, we've heard and answered, I think, about every question,
Yes.
so I would like for people to know, if anything, more about me as Tiffany, the
Yeah.
real life things that I experienced. So
That's
that's why I
that's
invited you here.
That's amazing. And I love this space because obviously on the show, like we're not telling our own stories, or we are, but they're not always getting shown. And so people see you in this very specific archetype, or they see you in whatever lens CBS has decided to craft us in. But yeah, like we're just normal, real ass people. And so I love this and I'm so excited to like chat and honestly just excited for you to have this space because you are truly like one of my funniest, wittiest, like off the dome friends. I'm not even trying to gas you. I'm not. You
It's
are.
gassing me.
No, you are. Like it just comes so natural to you. So I'm like, yes, this is like a great forum for you. Like I really believe that.
Girl, one day me and Big D, I was venting on the phone to him,
Mm-hmm.
talking about these dates. And I was going in. I was going so off. He was like, no, somebody needs to hear this. Like, you have so much knowledge, and your opinions are so I don't even know what they are. And Big D probably use a word out of context to describe them anyway. So I don't have to
That's so Big
verbatim say what he said. And we were like, just let's jump on and talk about it. And it made me feel so free. It was so free. There was no editing. I was like, I don't care what I'm going to say. I'm going to get it out. This is me. And the one thing I realized is every single time I post something, I lose followers. But the understanding behind that is it's okay, because every time I post something, I also gain followers. So I have to realize that I can't cage myself and be boxed in for fear that I'm going to say something that's going to make somebody say, I don't want to be your friend anymore. Because those people who actually do relate to me, they'll stay or they'll find me. And those people who don't, they'll go. And I'm totally fine with that. But I'm not going to be boxed in, caged in anymore. I'm just done with that.
Yeah. And like honestly, I think that fear or that feeling of like, oh, if I say this, I'm gonna isolate these people, it comes from literally, having done TV and having to like control yourself and mute yourself. And honestly, I don't even know how you did it because of live feeds, but like constantly feeling like I need to appease and appeal to the masses. And this, I think maybe, I don't know, for me, it took me like a year or two post, the first show to be like, I'm just gonna post what I want, honestly. I don't really care. But it takes a lot to get out of your head. Like I still get in my head from time to time, but the thing is, like, I feel like now more than ever, people are looking for relatable people.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, being cookie cutter and,
Mm-hmm.
posting a shell of yourself, like this is my platform,
Yeah.
like it's yours.
Yeah.
Do what
You
you
don't
want.
like it, there's a button that unfollows me and you can be free of me.
Right.
All of my rhetoric, I invited you, Chanelle, because you are someone who never ceases to amaze me with their ambition, their drive. Your thought process is so top tier. Your intellect and your ability to craft your thoughts and deliver them to the level of understanding of who you are trying to communicate with. That was something that stood out to me tremendously. I'm going to reference our living situation on the challenge, but we have so much more than that. But that was a time when, in a high intensity situation, my level of respect for you just went up even higher, because I'm a person who shuts down in those type of situations. Like I'm overthinking about how to say what I'm thinking. What am I feeling? Am I saying what I'm feeling, or am I saying what I'm thinking? Which one, And I watched you in so many situations craft your conversation and be in tune with your emotions at the same time, in the hope of having a productive conversation and not just an expressive situation. So I do want to ask you, in your life, and like I said, not just reality TV, can you share something? And this is a very vulnerable question, and you take it to your level of comfort, but I always like to be real with people. So can you share something in your life that has made you proud, and something in your life that has been a disappointment?
Wow, these are getting deep immediately. Immediately. Um,
Hey girl, hey.
that's made me proud. Okay. Well, I will just kind of dial it back. Thank you for the compliments.
Yeah.
But like I think the reason why I'm like that is because I'm a naturally, and this is one of the things that I actually look at from myself as something I need to work on, or an area for development, is being a serial people pleaser. And so since I was young, I always looked at myself as like a people. I didn't realize that I was doing that then. Now I can look back and be like, you've been a people pleaser for a very, very long time. And I think it started from just thinking like, if you're nice, people will like you, right? Like in school, if you're just the nice person, people will like you, they want to be your friend. Because I had moments in elementary school where I wasn't like, popular. I wasn't someone that people wanted to be friends with necessarily, which like everyone has that
Yeah,
kind of story. Like,
everybody has
I was so,
that weird
yeah,
time in their life. Yeah.
exactly. But that really just, that made me a people pleaser. And a people pleaser meant that you shut off your own emotions and you are essentially like palatable enough to just be like, okay, like I get that you feel this way, but here's what, like here's how we work through it, here's how we come to solution. Because really a lot of it is just not taking shit personally. And so that's one of the things I will say is like, I don't take anything personally. Like you could do some shit or whatever, and then I'll be upset maybe, but then you apologize. I'm like, all right, it's cool. We can move forward. And the reason I can switch it on just like that is because I'm so used to not taking things personally, because people would do stuff to me and I'd be like, well, if you want to be liked, just be nice, just like make it okay. But then people walk all over you, right? And so I've experienced that kind of in my adult life and friendships, at work, like early in my career, like I would go in the bathroom and cry, at work, like every day. Not anymore because we're boss ass bitches now, but
Try me.
yes. So that's why I can like turn down the expressiveness, right? Because I've been just like used to doing that. But something that made me proud. Not to center this around reality TV, because that's, just a very small fraction of my life and who I am as a person. But honestly, getting on the challenge was, and Tiff, how like important that was. You know how much I was struggling in life, like in December and all that stuff before we went and filmed and stuff like that. And so it was a really big thing that I'm actually proud of, because on Survivor, like I didn't do well. Like I was not memorable. I didn't have a lot of camera time, and I was just like, damn, I just squandered my opportunity to do something with this away. I was like, I was just so like Survivor, the rewatch process was not a positive thing. I think everyone goes and they're like taking pictures and they make it seem like they're having the time of their life, but like I really had a hard time. Like, I really went through a really like just down period where I was just like, I feel invisible. I felt invisible. And that's like one of the things that I think again kind of stems back from like the people pleasing and the things like that, right? Which is like you're muting yourself, right? You are playing small to make other people feel comfortable, right? So that they want to be your friends. And so like I felt very invisible. And I was like, well, there's no way I'm going to get another chance at this. But, this is the first time in my life where I was like, I'm going to be disciplined. I'm going to work out. I'm going to engage with the community. I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to pitch myself to the talent agencies that I knew were the people who were putting people on the show. I had calls with them. I would go out to Marie Rhoda, that's my girl. I would go out to like, would hang out with her, and she would be like, all right, you got to do this, this, and this. And like, that was the first time in my life where I was like very much a concerted effort towards a goal that I felt like all the chips were stacking against me, right? Like literally every chip. I didn't place high in the show. Like, there are other archetypes, aka Black women, that are gonna schedule to come ahead of me, right? To get the call before me. And then practically, right? Like I live a life where I work every day and I might not be able to even do this practically. So just the ability to make that happen, the ability to train the way I trained, the ability to, just like go into it with the mindset that I had going into it. And then also, right, like I had some personal struggles right before filming that I was able to overcome to also play. And so like, I just was really, really proud at like, I saw for the first time in my life what discipline and consistency manifested into. So that was like something that made me really proud, And then
I'm glad you expressed that. Like that discipline,
yeah,
persistence, tenacity, belief, those things make such a difference. I've read so many books about how to achieve a goal, how to get to this place in life, how to be a better version of yourself. And in every single one of those books, there will always be a road that leads to determination. Like that is the must. You can't do anything without being, so you might have a stroke of luck here, but when you want something that is stacked against you, the only way to knock that wall down is you got to be determined.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got to be determined.
And
And
you, yeah.
you
I was gonna
said
say, and
something.
you have to be like willing to like sacrifice for it, you know?
Yes.
Like sacrifice a lot. And I'm not just talking about like, you know, money or time, but
Yeah.
like energy, like you have to be able to sacrifice. Someone said this, like you can have anything in this world if you're willing to sacrifice everything for it. I don't know if there's personally anything that I'm willing to sacrifice everything for, right? And I think like
I think that there's a sacrifice in many things that we,
mhm.
and some of those things we push to the side, we ignore. Okay, I want to look good. I want this shape. You're sacrificing to get that. You are sacrificing the carbs, the sweets, the sugar, the alcohol. You are going to eat better, sleep better, work out. I want this house. Well, I'm going to sacrifice the club, the trips, the whatever. There's always that give and take. And then, but sometimes we're not looking at that situation like that. Like, oh, well, I'm going to have to not do this. And every day of our life, we don't do something for the sake of having something else.
Yeah.
So if this is something that you really want, it's just like everything else.
Yeah.
This has to take the back burner in order for me to get ahead over here.
Yeah, and it's also a long game too, right? Because it's like you could sacrifice for 6 months, you could sacrifice for a year and still not feel like you've moved any closer to whatever goal that you have.
God,
But I'm talking about people who are like, oh, what was it? I can't remember, but whatever. Like people who are like doing something for like 10 years straight,
Yeah.
and then you finally get that like that break. And so depending on how important or how big that goal is, like that sacrifice could be like a big chunk of your life, you know?
Mhm.
It really could be. I mean, think about doctors who like literally have to study chata, right?
Yeah.
Chata, our baby,
I
who
know.
is going to be in school for probably like the next 10 years
Yeah.
to then get to that spot. And so like sometimes those sacrifices really are long-term commitments.
I try to like pretend like time doesn't exist because we give it a lot of weight. And we're always in a hurry as people to get something done so that we can have it out of the way. And the one thing I've realized is I'm never done. I'm done with that. Now I freed up time for something else. And when you don't do something, the time doesn't it's not existing. It's still going on. So it's like, oh, I don't want to go to med school because that's going to take me 10 years. Okay. What are you going to do with that time then? Do you just want to do nothing? Do you want to look up 10 years from now and go, I did nothing with those 10 years, but I could have been a doctor.
And they still passed.
It's like you have to, I try to act like the time it's going to take me to do something is not relevant. There's certain things I have to act like aren't real. Embarrassment is one. And that's a big one for me.
Oof.
I tell myself often, you're only not doing blank because of the fear of embarrassment. What is embarrassment? I can't touch it, hold it. I can't see. No one else can see it. Only me. It's here. It's in my head.
Wow. You just changed my life just now. Like I swear you just changed my life. Like that is a word. Like what is embarrassment? Like
it's not real.
Wow.
It's made up.
Yeah.
It's a made up thought that we put in our own head. Because if I just told you right now, Chanelle, you're embarrassed, you'll be like, no, I am not. What are you talking about? But you can yourself say, I'm embarrassed. And nobody is even paying you any attention.
Yeah. Yeah. And if anyone does realize it, it's literally for a second and then it's fleeting. It's gone.
I have had to realize embarrassment has held me back from a lot of things. And the fact that the things that I was embarrassed about, no one probably even cared about. And the fact that if I was embarrassed about it, somebody else probably was too, and they did it anyway. No matter how silly they looked doing it, no matter how many times they failed at doing it.
Yeah.
no matter how many times someone told them no. And I am learning a lot just about uh, life as it is because I am raising another young adult.
Yeah.
And I have to be able to give him tools that I don't even know that are in my shed.
Ooh.
And so then I'm using them too because I'm trying to tell him, like, forget about somebody telling you no. What does that mean? And as I'm saying it to him, I have to be saying it to myself. I don't even always stand and know the things that I'm saying to him. But as I'm saying it to him, I have to use it for me. And then I had to say to myself the other day, like, Tiffany, you are a person who has been scared of no because of embarrassment. Who am I embarrassed? I've been at home by myself and have not even wanted to practice a dance because I'm like, no, I'm gonna look stupid in front of who? This mirror?
I'm screaming. Yo, I feel that heavy. Like what I tell you, Tiff, even, now I know you introduced me on the call, like being an entrepreneur and starting my own career coaching and career consulting business. That took me so much longer than it needed to. Why? Embarrassment.
Yeah.
I started with like, number one, I thought my content was cringe, like talking about resumes and LinkedIn and interviews. I'm like, that's so cringe. Like, no one wants to hear that,
Yes,
like,
they do.
like I'm so used to like, I want to be a baddie on Instagram. I want to look cute. I want dudes to slide into my DMs, like that's what kind of time I was on. And then I'm like, TikTok for me is like a very low stakes platform. So I'm like, I'll just throw the content that I don't care anyone sees on TikTok. Because guess what? I don't know my followers. They don't know me.
That's
Like,
exactly where I am with TikTok. Like, like
exactly.
today.
Yes. I'm like, I'm gonna just throw the stuff that I don't care about on TikTok. And so I would throw my videos on TikTok about career coaching and interviews and things like that. And they would go viral, stupid viral, to the point where people were taking my videos off of TikTok, putting them on Instagram and going viral on Instagram with my
Wow.
video.
Wow.
Not them,
Not you, them.
not me,
Going,
not
them
me
going
scrolling,
viral with
them
you.
going viral on, like, not me scrolling on my Instagram timeline, seeing my face, my video, my TikTok on someone else's page with 100,000 likes. And I'm like, embarrassment, Chanelle. Like, what are you embarrassed about? And so I said, okay, Chanelle, like, I think it happened 3 or 4 times. I said, enough. Post your own shit on your
Yeah.
Instagram. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I posted it on Instagram and it went crazy. It took off and, I was able to get so much more reach and engagement, not just for the superficial purposes of it,
Yeah.
but like for my literal business. It brought me money, it brought me clientele. But for so long, embarrassment stopped me from putting it on my profile because I'm like, no, people don't want this type of thing from me. But here's the tea, right? It's like embarrassment, cringiness. It's like, it's not cringe when you're making money. It's not cringe when you're successful at doing it because then people are going to be like, oh, can I have your advice? How did you do it? Like, so it's just getting out of your head.
Yeah.
And I'm still there. Like I'm personally still there.
Same. It took me a long time to do this. Aza has been trying to tell me to do my own thing since I came out of the house. Tiff, and that was 2021. Tiff,
Yeah.
you can do this. You should do your own thing. Aza brought me a green screen, had it sent to my house and was like, you need this. I want you, like, Tiff. And I was like, just all the silly things that could hold me back. I convinced myself of those things. And it took me to 2024 to say, okay, I'm just going to do it. And the one thing that I have to tell myself in everything that I do, it's okay to start at zero. And I told myself, and I only had that type of determination once in my life. And it's my reserve of where I go and get it from now. I remember when I started my business. I started my business as I was working for someone. They were stressing me out so bad. I was literally crying coming home because I was still broke. There is nothing worse than busting your butt every day from the time you get up to the time you come home and you still broke. And they get on your nerve. You get on my nerve and I'm broke. It was Oh, and so I remember I started my business, but that year that I started it, I was still like, I couldn't figure it out yet. So I couldn't leave my job. I was still broke a year later, still didn't have any business, but I had gotten so fed up that I said, I don't care if I got to start with one client, one doctor, one person, just one person who is willing to take a chance on me. I will deal with this. I will go door to door. I will do yellow phone book calling before I have to sit up here, be broke and miserable at this job. I did not leave my job with thousands of dollars on the table, with client after client calling my phone. I didn't leave my job with my phone ringing. I left my job at zero. And I had to be willing to start at zero and know that that's okay. I remember when I sent my first invoice out, my first invoice on QuickBooks was 001. And I was like, I'm not sending a 001 invoice.
Not me doing the same exact thing. I was like 0046. You gonna know you're my first client.
Oh, matter of fact, turn that around. 100. You the 100th one I done sent out. I ain't sent out. This ain't my first invoice. What are you talking about? But we're so embarrassed to only have one. I don't want to go live. What if nobody joins? I don't want to post this video. What if nobody likes it? I don't want, my son, I keep telling him, you play video games 17 hours out of 24. Why don't you do a Twitch or this? And he's like, and I know it's fear. I don't, what if nobody watches? So what?
Yeah.
So what? You'd be surprised. Everybody starts at one. There's a beginning for all of us,
Yeah.
And we can't be afraid to start at nothing.
Yeah.
Everybody ain't born with that silver spoon. All of us didn't come born with an inheritance, a trust fund. We all didn't come with our Instagram page already made. Some people start at zero. Most people start at zero.
Right.
And it's okay.
Yeah, this just reminds me of this video that I saw on Instagram like not too long ago, and the woman was like, the question that she had written down in her journal that kept her up at night was, who are you uninterrupted? Like, who are you uninterrupted by fear, by shame, by embarrassment, by all these things? Like, who would you be if you didn't have those blocks? And it's just like, man, like we'd probably be flourishing. Flourishing. It's crazy. But yeah, listen, like everyone starts from zero. Even if you can pretend like you're not, at some point you've started from like, all right, we just gonna start.
It makes me wonder where those insecurities come from. Like, where did they stem from? And I mean, unfortunately, I think that I have a really good support system, and the family that I have I'm resound to the fact that they tried their best. But I also am accepting of the fact that their best was like not top tier.
Yeah.
And I have always been this person, and I'm not blaming anything on anyone else. I think that in order for you to help someone else, like, you have to be together.
Yep.
That's why I did wait until I was 27 to have my son. That was intentional. I was like, I'm not having no babies. I was birth controlling it up. I can't stand birth control now, but I was like, give me my orthotricycline. You got it. Okay. So like now I'm a mom, and I remember the one day when I was like pregnant, and I was like, oh my God, I am going to have to be responsible for somebody. Like, what am I going to teach him? I have no idea. I don't know what to teach this person. What if I screw him all the way up, And my whole goal, I was like, God, just please give me like a good baby. Bless me with like one of your good souls. I promise I will do my best. I will take care of this, your human. I promise I will. And so, I look at my son now, and I get a lot of compliments on him, and a lot of people compliment me as a parent, and it's hard for me to receive that. I don't know why. It just feels like I don't know. It's not a weird compliment. It's just like I'm just doing what I'm my best, right? What I'm trying to do. But I was also prepared to be a mother, but not a single mother, but obviously I was prepared to be a single mother because I was, and I did a okay job. But my point is, I've always tried to make sure that I knew who he was and see him for who he could grow and develop to be. And I just think that it wasn't like that for me growing up. I don't think anyone was trying to figure out who the hell I was. It was like, you better know who I am because I'll choke you. And so I, was like not trying to be Tiffany. I was trying to be who these adults thought that I should be so that I could be likable, so I could be palatable, so that I could earn some attention and not a lot of times I was just like masking who I really was because I didn't want to get in trouble for this and I didn't want to get yelled at for that. I was always opinionated and with some very mature opinions, but I knew I couldn't say these things or even truly think these things because then I would get in trouble. So for a long time I was like suppressing my personality and myself, and it's like, then when you say, oh, I want to create a business, when you've had people telling you you need to get a job that got benefits and stay there and work that for 35 years and retire. So when you're old, you can have something, but you really don't have nothing because you're tired now, And so then how am I supposed to tell myself you can do it, believe in yourself? It's okay to start at zero. It's okay to have nothing. When you didn't hear that.
Yeah.
It's a tough cycle.
It is. It makes me think of like kind of like what you said in terms of you made yourself palatable and you tried to be, acceptable and likable, like, like a good girl almost, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes me think of like, do we ever get to a place where we do so much masking that the real you, who you were, who you're always meant to be, is so far deep that you actually can't access it, and now you're just a version of literally everything that you were taught by society, or
Yeah, those people are now like in their 70s and 80s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like just not fulfilling what I got so many people that I know that had so many talents and skills that they never pursued because they were a janitor for 30 years.
And like, that's life. Like, there is no happy, not to say that these people weren't happy, but there's no happy ending to that. You die the janitor. Like, that is real for a lot of people, for probably most people, right? Like, there are so many people that never actually tap into that, access it, or even just fully lean into it. It's really scary. And I think that that's what we have in common, you, I, a lot of people that have been in our positions, right, with TV, is that we have this, like, I don't know, desire to like really push ourselves to see who we can become, even if we do it kicking and screaming and crying and like all of those things, right? Definitely a lot of kicking and screaming and fear, but like the desire to be like, I still want to see what this is like. I still want to see like if I can jump. I still want to see like if I can do these things. And it's crazy. It's crazy. And sometimes I gaslight myself and like, you're crazy, Chanelle. You're crazy. Do you see your friends around you who have not, been living the type of life that I live, that have own a home now and, have marriage and kids. And I'm like, Chanelle, why would you choose this pathway? You're crazy. That's like, and I get insecure too. I get insecure all the time. And I don't know how to cope with that or deal with that. Like, I don't have a like inspirational quote to like wrap this up, like full stop. I get insecure to this day,
It's the fear of the unknown. Like, I was in healthcare for 20 years and I'm still in healthcare. And I knew that I had a decision to make when I was like, I'm trying to walk down two roads right now. Someone could tell me right now, you need to do all of these things. Like, go to school, go back to school and get this degree in this so that your business can do this, or take some courses or classes or get some coaching over here and do this entertainment thing. And I don't know what amount anybody would be able to tell me that would send me back to school for more healthcare education. I would feel boxed in. And yeah, it's lucrative. It's, it's promising. It's all of those. It's secure. But I feel like there's so much more to me that I want to share with the world, that I want to experience in life than this. I'm working at the hospital. I'm not saying anything's wrong with any of these professions. I'm speaking just for me and my own personal passion and fulfillment, that I don't feel passionate about that. I think that when we got on these shows, that the one thing I know I was able to feel was seen. I felt like somebody saw me for just who I was as a person, not as an employer or an employee to come work for them. It was like, I don't have to, they're not saying, oh, you are be real good at screwing all these screws in and shipping this thing down the line, or you'd be real good at organizing all this data and inputting it into our system and then delivering it to the staff every 30 days. They said, your personality needs to be showcased, and we want to provide a platform for you to do that. Yeah. And it made me feel like I was enough.
Mm-hmm. Was that your first time in life feeling like that? Like
that I was enough?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Wow.
I have always felt like I needed to be someone, or I needed to have this, or I needed to be doing that in order to be in the same room, or to even, it's just so, it's so silly. I remember one of my friends, a really good friend of mine, he was like, it was Christmas. He was like, here, I got you a gift. I'm like, what is it? He was like, and I opened it up and it was a Rolex. And I was like, why did you get me this?
Excuse me.
And he was like, because when you go in these rooms with all of these execs, I want you to feel like you want them to see you as being the same as them. And I get it. And at that time, I really believed that. I believed that I needed something like that to give me a certain status when they saw me. Yeah. as having achieved something, yeah, to where we're on a similar level. Mm-hmm. Now it's crazy. Like now it took me only probably, I don't know, within the last year, like I legitimately don't care about material things. Mm-hmm. It took me a long time. Like I legitimately don't care. But aside from that, yes, I felt like I deserved more and that I had more to offer. And I felt like people saw something in me that was valuable, and I've made it successfully in my career from people actually acknowledging me as a valuable member of their team. But going into the reality space, it was like I was getting paid to just be me.
Yeah.
I didn't have to go do massages for a living. I didn't have to do all of the manual stuff. I just had to be Tiffany.
Right.
And it drove the desire for me to find a way to curate that into a profit. How do I make money off of me instead of other people making money off of me?
Yeah. 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 That's an incredible thing too. And like, if you needed more validation, like obviously winning AFP should have been the greatest validation, which is not only did the execs at the network see me valuable enough just being me, but like everyone else did too, It's like, it's got to be the ultimate validation in like standing in yourself, right? And leaning in. like people identify with it, they connect with it, which is so beautiful.
It did. It was what I actually needed, not for the
Mm,
show. It was like for me personally,
yeah.
I needed to feel that being Tiffany Monique Mitchell was enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and there are a lot of things that add to insecurity. When me and Christian's dad like didn't work, and I was like, okay, I'm raising my son on my own. That was a huge insecurity as far as like trying to date.
Yeah.
Because I was raised in a family where I heard all the time, nobody gonna take care of nobody with no kids. You don't wanna be out here with no kids trying to get no man to marry you. And nobody marry nobody with no kids. So, you know, you're conditioned to think all of these things
Yeah.
about certain situations. And
Yeah.
especially as women, we get stamped and labeled and beat down with so many stereotypes and biases that just being a Black woman, period, you feel like, am I enough?
Oh, tell me about it. That's where I am right now in life. Tell me about it. Tell me about
So,
it. Yeah.
you know, and that even that, like trying to date and proving that or validating that I am I am this, I am that, I am worth it. Like
Was that your actual experience though? Like when dating, like people are like, "Oh, you have a kid, I'm good." Like people just generally
the
not being interested.
the crazy part about it all, I have never met one guy.
Period. Period.
I have never met one guy who would not date me because I was a single mom.
Period. Yeah.
Now, I had
It's a
some men that said they couldn't date me because I don't want to have no more kids. And I understand that because I
Mhm.
don't want I don't want to hold anybody back from their procreation. I feel
Yeah.
like anybody who wants children should be able to have children.
Yeah.
Go make your babies. It just won't be with me.
Sorry. Ooh.
Bless you. Bless you.
One more
It's called
spoon.
sneezing the truth. My
Clearly, I'm allergic to the truth. No, I'm kidding. All right, I think we're good. Wait, hold on. I think we're good. Sorry.
I'm waiting on it.
No, we're good. We're
Okay.
straight.
But
Yeah.
no, all that's what I mean by like things being in our head.
Yes.
And there are relationships that I self-sabotaged because of my own insecurity of thinking I know what they're thinking. No, he's in things that they have never even said to me. I made up this whole story. No, because like he's a doctor and his parents are both doctors too, and he doesn't have any kids and his parents have been married all this time. They're not gonna want him to bring home somebody who already has a kid, and then I got this situation with it. I don't know. You know what? Yeah, I'm a go get somebody lesser.
Oof. Oof. Wow. That's a realization. We price ourselves out of things before people have a chance to even think about the question. That's a realization for reals. For reals, for reals.
I legitimately have messages from guys. And honestly, there's not one guy I've ever dated who does not still try to call my phone.
Period, sis.
Not one. Let's be clear. Even the ones who are married. I'm not saying they're trying to get back with me,
Yeah.
but there is still a part of me that they want to be connected to, whether it's how
Yeah.
you doing. A lot of them ask, how is your son doing? I met more men who actually wanted to be a part of my life because of my stories about my son or how he was or what he was doing or me showing pictures and them feeling like I need to be a part of his life. I need to, you should let me help you with him. And I ended up having to be like, oh, I've been wrong. Instead of it pushing men away, it actually drew them in closer. So then that made me become more overprotective of men really and they don't get to meet my son. It's just by my expression and maybe them observing how I am as a mom. But yeah, I've talked myself out of a lot of relationships, and I have guys that'll message me and be like, I really, really, I really liked you. I was gonna make you
Right.
my wife.
Right.
We was gonna, if it would have been me and you, we was gonna blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, why did I think different? And they be
Right.
like, I don't know why you
I didn't
thought
say
anything
that.
different. I never tried to convey anything different.
Yeah.
I stopped dating a guy one time because my credit score was a 473, and I should have stopped dating. I shouldn't have been dating nobody. Only thing I should have been doing was saving $25 a month and sending them to them debt collectors, which is what I did. But I remember when he told me, here he is trying to impress me, like, yeah, I got a 720, I got this, I saved that, and I was like, yeah, he ain't gonna like me. I'm broke. I'm about to lose my house. My credit score is a 475. I got stuff in debt collection. It ain't gonna work. I ain't gonna do that.
That's actually like honestly, you're teaching me a lot right now because I feel like I am in such a weird space with dating. Like, where, listen, I just moved to Miami, and if you don't know anything about Miami, the men here are largely not interested into black women from like what the stereotype that I have in my head is, right? Um, like, the preferences like white women or exotic women, Latino, whatever. And if you are like a black woman, like you got to be a model, like skinny,
Hmm.
and honey, like I've never been skinny a day in my life. A day
No,
in my life.
but you sexy thick. You nice thick. I still can I can close my eyes and picture you neck down to your ankles. I do not know what your feet look like, but I do know what your back spine looks like to the curve. And they even were like, "What, Tiff?" I mean, I lived with her.
Yeah.
Chanel's butt in them shorts, the back of your hamstrings, them thighs. I do know exactly what
Tiffy.
you look like, and it looks amazing. It looks good.
Thank you, sis.
I
I
might be
appreciate
getting
that.
into my day. Hey, it's Pride Month. Hey, hey.
Happy Pride, y'all. Happy Pride. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so like I don't know. I already had a really negative idea of what dating was going to be like for me in Miami, just given that I'm just like, I'm not gonna be men's preferred choice, right?
Mm,
Like, given that I'm not a model, I'm not skinny like a model, and then I'm also a
beautiful though,
black
girl.
woman,
No, but you're beautiful.
Thank you, babes. I appreciate that. But at the end of the day, like it's like, who said that? Did someone say that to you? Have you
Right.
ever like approached a guy and he said, "Oh, nah, I'm good." Like no one said that. So it's like maybe like this is another one of those things where you are projecting things to
Mm,
yourself. Even though, listen, I think I'm beautiful, right?
hmm.
Like I have confidence in myself, but I also realize like when you go to different like part of the world geographically. I know everyone says this, a New York 10 is not an LA 10, which is not a Miami 10, whatever. Like it's just like this discourse on TikTok, whatever. But I don't know. I guess like I'd been in my head about that and hadn't really been actively putting myself out there dating because of that partially. And I'm like,
Mm,
why are we doing that, sis? Why are we doing
yeah.
that? You know?
So, are we dating?
We are trying to date a little
Okay.
bit. I'm finding myself being this type of person that's just like, usually I'm quick to cut something off. Like if
Mm.
I smell a sniff, a whiff, a scent of anything that I'm like, that's some bullshit, it's like, cut. Like,
Ain't nothing to cut that off.
period. I was talking to this guy that I met on Hinge recently because we're on the apps, a little
Mm-hmm,
bit.
mm-hmm,
My
mm-hmm.
preference is not the apps. My preference is to meet someone in person, but
I know.
whatever.
So challenging.
Yeah, we're gonna get there. But what I do when I'm having calls with clients, whatever, I put my phone on D&D. I don't want any notifications like going off because if you get a text on your phone, it'll go through to your MacBook and it'll go bing, and
Yeah.
you'll hear it on a Zoom. And so this guy that I was texting, whatever, he he texted me, and there's a little option on the iPhone to notify anyways.
Okay.
And this man notified me anyways, and so I'm on a call and I get a bing, and I'm like, who's texting me? Like, who would ignore my do not disturb and disturb me anyways? And it was homeboy, and I said, oh nah, nah. I said, you know what? I'm gonna let it slide, and I mentioned it.
You know,
I
you got
mentioned
me
it.
thinking, because I think I may have done that on mistake to some people. No, wait a minute,
Don't
because
do that, Tiff. Don't do
I,
that.
I think I
Unless you're
don't
being
know.
obnoxious on purpose,
Okay,
like to your
wait.
friends.
Okay, I'm looking at someone right now who's on Do Not Disturb. Now,
Send them a message.
okay, but I do see it says notify anyway. You actually have to hit the
You have
notify
to hit
anyway.
notify
So I can
anyways.
still text this
Yes.
person and
Yes. And
it'll
they
go
will get it.
through not
Yeah.
disturbed.
Yeah.
But
They'll get it when they look at their phone.
if I hit notify anyway, that means I'm saying buzz them anyway.
Buzz.
That's a little
Right.
overbearing.
But the tea is, I brought it up. I said, not you notifying me anyways. And he was
Okay.
like, LOL, haha. And I was like,
Not LOL, haha, my
yeah,
ass.
I was like, nah, just don't do that. Then it happened again a couple days later. I said, nah, we good. He notified me anyways when I was on D&D, and I said, okay, I'm done talking to this guy. And I sent him a message. I said, listen, I said, please stop notifying me anyways. I was like, I'm on calls. Like,
Yeah. Well, and what
like
do you
it's
want to talk
rude.
about?
Right. And I the thing is, I think that you're just doing it to be obnoxious.
Yeah,
Like,
don't ever
I'm
try to be
texting you, I'm
obnoxious.
here, and I'm like, that's fine, but like I don't know you like that yet. So
You just made me realize something I am completely turned off by, and it is obnoxious. I am
what?
completely turned off by obnoxiousness.
100%.
If you are
100%.
intentionally trying to be obnoxious, I will not talk to you ever again because I don't find it funny at all.
Agreed. Agreed.
Don't ever try
Listen,
to get on my nerve, because getting on my nerve, it don't take a whole lot. So if you actually want to get on my nerve, then me and you don't need to have no kind of interaction.
no,
See,
it's
I
not
thought you were
flirting.
talking about like cutting people off, like for an ick. Now, me and Desi had a really good YBY
Mm-hmm.
episode where she talked about how in dating we can have someone who is like qualifiable, and then they may have something that is a turnoff, and we'll just like X the whole deal. But really, if we add up everything that we're looking for in a person, is it really worth? Okay, he chews with his mouth open. We did kind of determine that we probably don't know if that's forgivable.
Bro, okay, for Desi, knowing her, I am sure that's not forgivable. But
It's
for me,
yeah,
it wasn't.
it's
It
not
wasn't, was it?
No, it's not forgivable.
Forgivable. Forgivable.
See, I'm in my head about stuff. Like, I put the cart way before the horse. So when I am out with someone on the first date and they are chewing with their mouth open, I have legit gone to the networking events that I will have to attend, that I may want to invite you to, with top
Oh.
CEOs and billionaires, and you are going to sit there and chew with your mouth open. Guess what? You won't be going, and then you'll probably feel like I don't accept you and respect you, and then we're going to have a disagreement about why I attend these events without you, and you can't believe that it's just because you chew with your mouth open. And I'd have thought about this on the first date.
You've been thinking about this during appetizers. Like it's already a dub.
Yep.
We haven't even gotten to entrees.
He's like, ma'am, are you here? No, babe, I'm 5 years down the road and you didn't make it.
Are we doing this, Tiff? Are we disqualifying these men too soon? Like, is that what's happening? I actually,
I am guilty. I know I am guilty.
yeah, yeah. You know what I also think we're guilty of? I just had this conversation with my friend, and listen, I'm 31, like we're dating, we're like, okay, like time to get married, pop out a kid or two. And
Not pop, girl, you got to push. Babies don't pop, they push. Okay.
And I'm like, okay, well, are we actively dating? And I said to her, I was like, are you actively dating? She's like, well, I went out with that guy. I said, babe, that was 2 months ago. She's like, yeah, but like, and I'm like, I recently heard this, but like, you have to treat dating like a job like you're applying for a job. Like, how many job applications would you apply for a week? I'd say 20, 25 if you're actively really looking. So like going out on a date once a month is not enough. Going out on a date once every couple months is not enough. Like it's not. You should be going out on like 2 to 3 dates a week.
And going out with that person one time does not qualify them for the job.
Yeah. Right.
I mean,
And
you don't even get benefits from your job that hired you for 90 days. They still trying to figure out if you gonna be here before they put their money down.
yeah. And I will say, Desi actually taught me something really valuable. She said she gives every guy 3 dates.
Hmm.
Like 3 dates to be like, okay, I wasn't really feeling you on date one. Like, I'm gonna give it another try.
Or I was
Date,
super feeling you on date one.
mm,
Maybe I need to date two to see if this was the real you or
if it's
not.
real. Yeah, yeah. But by date three, it's like, all right, like let's we have a good enough picture of who you are to say, like, do I want to continue with this or not? So,
You know, interestingly, I was having a conversation with a young lady who's about my age, but
hmm
she's not from the U.S. And I was talking to her about dating, and I was telling her how there was a guy I was dating for 6 months, and like we did not sleep together. And she was like, "You guys didn't sleep with together. You've been dating him for 6 months, and you guys have never slept together." And I was like, "No." She's like, "I didn't even know that that was possible. I thought you had to like sleep. I didn't know that a guy would continue to date you, not having had the sex." And I'm like, I don't know what the time is, but yeah, it's we're not just jumping in. And if I do decide to jump in, there's not a time frame, but we had not even kissed. Like we were going on dates like every Friday. We would meet up and date, like a day date on a Friday, and then we were out in public, and then so like he'd go on about his day, I'd go on about my day, blah blah blah. Then we get another date, and then finally it was like, so are we ever gonna kiss? And I was like, I mean, we can. Like, when you gonna kiss me? You know, I'm like, am I supposed to kiss you? And so it progressed really slowly, right?
do you think that that's the norm or the exception though? Because I feel like that's probably the exception.
So in my experience, I have found that in the situations where I have moved at rapid pace of trying to get to know someone, those situations did not pan out, and we probably aren't even like friends, but not beef, but we just don't have a connection of friendship. But those situations that um like that specific situation, I enjoyed it so much because I felt like we were getting to know each other, and I felt like I had a friend, and I felt like if we do get to a point where we become intimate, and I think it would be a lot harder for him to be like, "Oh yeah, I hit it. All right, I'm out," because I'm your friend now.
Right. Yeah. That's
You're not
actually
hurting.
tea.
You're hurting. You have to, well, you don't have to, but maybe he'll be a little more compassionate about how he treats me, how
Yeah.
this situation is handled, should we start to become intimate, because we
Yeah.
formed a bond where you actually care about me.
hmm
Whereas if we only have been dating for 14 days and then we become intimate, but then, you know, we don't end up working out, he may not feel like he's lost anything. I'm not a substantial part of his life. He probably hasn't invested anything in those 14 days for him to feel like he's lost something. But over this course of 6 months, me and this guy we have talked about so many things. I may have shed a tear in those 6 months. I've opened up, I've been vulnerable, I've shared some things. And so if we become intimate and you like, all right, I'm gone, as your man, do you feel proper?
Yeah. Yeah, listen, I'm taking notes right now. This is free game because I thought that dudes become disinterested after 3 days. Like I literally have
Wow.
guy friends that I'm very, very close to that are like, listen, if I'm with a girl and she's not trying to make moves by date number three or
Mm,
four, I'm done. I'm out. Like we good. Like I don't even like I stopped showing interest and then
wow.
like that's it.
I
Yeah. And
I'm
so
I'm not surprised at that. Like, wow, I can't believe that. The wow is, I remember thinking like that too.
mm,
I remember having that mindset like, oh man, he is not about to keep taking me out. This is like, oh my God, he's not gonna like me. I'm gonna have to let my guard down a little
That's
bit.
so
I'm gonna have to let him
shitty,
rub
isn't it?
these thighs. I'm gonna have to let him grab my booty. Something. I'm gonna have to let him know it's all good. But you do not. Me and this, and you know, think about this.
Okay.
Go to any rom-com, romantic movie that you can think of. Guy meets girl. In no movie, not one, does she turn around and go, oh my God, I like you too. And they have sex and live happily ever after.
Right.
Because it doesn't happen that way.
Yeah.
She would turn around and be like, oh my God, I like you too. And then he would be like, oh, well, then we're done here. My job is done.
Yeah.
She makes him, there's a chase, there's an interest, there's a build up. There's a defining moment of determination from him that I want to get to know her. And what I have realized is the more I'm trying to say this the right way. When I show you that who I am and what I am is valuable and you cannot just have me, men that I have been dating are more interested in what they need to do to allow me to open up myself to them, because they keep trying to figure out, how do I get in there? How do I get into her? How do I get her into me? It's just like anything else. If we could walk into Rolls Royce shop and just grab one and roll out with it, then they would not be the commodity that they are. You gotta work hard to get it. It costs a lot of money. They don't make a whole lot of them. Everybody can't get one. So when somebody finally gets to a status in life, the first thing they want to do is figure out, what I gotta do to get that Rolls Royce.
Period. Yeah.
Ain't nobody with a whole lot. And some very frugal people are, but they not out here like, man, I sure wish I could go and get a gremlin. Y'all don't even know what that is. I sure wish I can go get me a Fiesta. No, you don't. You don't care about that.
Do you think it's an immaturity thing though? Because you know how men mature at different rates than women.
I think it is a human nature thing.
But I'm just saying, like, the patience and the desire to, like, figure out a challenge versus that threshold where the challenge is too challenging and they're like, I'm just going to go get something easier.
Well, there are people who just like low-hanging fruit.
Right. That's true.
There are people who don't want to have to work hard to get anything.
Yeah.
Oh, you take work? That's okay. She'll suck my dick for free. Okay. Okay. Go ahead. Where that leads to, what you're able to build from there, I don't know. I guess it all depends on what they're looking for. But I think that even the youngest person, or maybe the not mature person, if they recognize value, they will respect the fact that I can't just walk up to you and have you. You can't just kidnap me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's like
true.
Stealing. You can't just go in the store, grab something off the shelf and be like, this is mine.
Yeah.
You're going to have to look at the price of that, check, make sure you can afford it, go on over there to the register, cash it out, get your receipt, make sure you prove that you earned it, and get on up out of there.
Yeah.
And I think that just expecting someone to turn themselves over to you because of what? And that's the one thing that I do believe, and maybe it's my old school mentality, but when we give ourselves to men without them having felt like they did anything to deserve it, we don't end up receiving from that relationship
Yeah.
what we intended to get when we gave ourselves to them. And that can be, and I don't just mean like physically. I mean, you met a guy and you just let him come over and chill in your house all day, like, you know, and he's sitting there looking at him, looking at you and him like, I ain't even did nothing to be able to deserve to come over. She gave me a key and everything. I'm not saying you got to sleep with him, but give a man the key to your house. I bet you he don't use it. He's scared. Now he like, why'd you give me that key like that? Are you trying to set me up? He thinks of so many things because he knows he hasn't done anything to deserve that.
Right. This is the thing. I agree with your logic, and I just don't think that the vast amount of men operate within that same logic though. And that's where I'm having trouble just like kind of reconciling the two, which is like, I agree, right? Like, you need to work for this. You can't just come in, look cute, spend a couple dollars on dinner and be like, all right, let's like, no, of course not, right? But there's a huge like population of men that are like, there's so many women that are okay with that. And maybe those aren't the men for you, right? But then it leaves you like looking for a needle in a haystack. And so it's like, how do you even get around that, you know?
I think if we paneled men who are married and have been married for a substantial amount of time, like I'd say 3 years plus, which is still not a lot of time, but I'm just trying, people don't stay married for a long time now, so I'm trying to give people the benefit of the doubt, because I don't want to say 20 or 40 years, because I know a lot of people married for 20 years, and that's because somebody got pregnant and then they had to get married, and so that's why they're married. But I think if we paneled married men, they would say they had to earn their relationship with their wife. They had to earn their placement in her life. They had to work to get her to trust him as her partner. I think that it all depends on what that man is looking for. If he is out here just looking for a good time, then he's not willing to invest time. But I bet even this man who is just out here looking for a good time, he can be out here sleeping with everybody. If he met a woman he was genuinely interested in and wanted to get to know her and valued her, he wouldn't place the value of her and their future together on how long she gonna take to have sex with me.
I don't know, Tiff. These men are short track minded. Like I listen, I always trust your opinion. You know that. I love talking to you about guys. No, but I'm just saying I'm right. I love talking to you about dating and all this stuff, right?
Yes.
I just truly think men today are different animals. Like, these men are impatient. They are one track minded. Like I don't know. Like, maybe I'm just not meeting the right people, but I just feel like there is an immediate like entitlement that men have that I'm just like, I'm not in alignment with that, sir. So like, what are we doing?
Me so
you know,
appreciative that I'm not in my 20s trying to date, or I'm not trying to date men in their 20s or 30s.
Yeah.
And I might not be trying to date men in their 40s either, honestly. Because you possibly are right that generation of males are dating with a different intent and have a different expectation on their timeline of how things should go. I am offended by any man who has placed a timeline on when I should open up to them, whether that's physically, whether it's emotionally. Because if I told you on date 2 that I love you, you're going to be ready to run for the hills. How you love me? That's too soon. It's too early for all that emotion. You don't want me to love you on date 2, but if I sex you on date 2, you're perfectly fine with that. It's not too soon for that. How did you determine when it's my time to share myself with you?
Yeah.
I don't like that.
I agree.
I don't like that somebody has, I don't like when people have put a price on me. Well, I mean, we went on 3 dates. Well, how much was 3 dates?
Is that what I'm worth?
Where is my calculator? Huh? 3 dates. Sure, we went on 3 dates. I ordered a meal that was $56, a drink that was $20 on the first date. On the second date, my meal was $42 and my drink was $35. On the third date, let's say I ordered a $75 meal and I drank $40 and I had a $15 dessert. We talking about $283. $283 in 3 dates. 3 dates that maybe, let's just say them 3 dates with 3 hours apiece. Let's just say you spent 10 hours and $283.
Yeah.
Bruh, that's 1 day of work.
That's tea. That is so tea, actually.
So for 1 day of work, I owe you me.
Yeah, that's wild.
My valuable prized body. But if I said I love you for doing those things, for taking that time, for getting to know me, you would run for the hills, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm offended
I
by
agree.
the timetable and the expectation of, if I'm doing this, then I expect this. Because $283 don't even pay my cell phone bill. So I definitely am not. I don't owe anything. I'm not. And guess what? If you feel like I owe you something, I will pull out $283 and give it right back to you.
Period. I agree. I fully agree.
I'm trying to get to know you.
Yeah. And I genuinely hope that women, just in general, don't fall prey to thinking that they have to, move at a certain pace because, all right, he's taking me out on X amount of dates or whatever that looks like. Because it's like, really, it doesn't matter.
And that's easier said than done, because as a young woman, I felt that way.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I'm an older woman. And y'all can call me an old woman. I don't care.
You're not, girl. You're not. You're not, though.
I wouldn't care if they do, because at least I'm still alive, okay? I'm not a dead woman. I'd rather be an old woman than a dead woman. So,
But you're neither. Neither.
I am alive, though. I'm a human woman. So, a human man, a human woman. Was
that a quote?
I tell you off.
Okay.
It's some BB discourse.
Oh,
but
okay.
This is recent. This is a recent situation.
Mm-hmm.
Went out on a date with a very wealthy man.
Okay.
Wealthy. Okay. I probably was born into money. Grandparents probably had money. Okay. And I'm like, oh, this is great for me, because I always knew I was supposed to have a man with some money. Shoot, I could retire today,
Mm-hmm.
And immediately on our first encounter for our I will call it a date. Let's just call it a date. It was way too comfortable for my liking.
What way?
This is his hand. Oh, how you doing? Yeah.
Date number one.
Date number one.
My gosh.
Date number one. And I was like, oh, you like my shirt? And I didn't know, legitimately, I didn't know what to say, because there's so many thoughts going on in my head. I'm thinking, am I tripping? I'm thinking, how do I say I'm not comfortable? I'm thinking, if I say I'm not comfortable, I'm thinking so many things. And I'm not in my 20s, and I can only imagine how that feels. And the hand goes on my thigh, and just, like, oh, you. And I'm wondering, did I do something? Did I show up? Am I naked? Do I got on clothes? And I was like, I think that this person does not consider themselves being too forward or overbearing or crossing the line. I think this person may be used to using and leveraging that wealth and status and what's it called when people know you or whatever?
Notoriety.
Yes, the notoriety. Thank you. I told y'all she was intelligent. She'll come up with the right words on the spot. I think that they are in their comfort zone with that. And maybe some people are comfortable with it. Maybe other women are just as cringe to it as me. But it's so unfortunate that I found myself feeling like the 20-year-old me. Like, what do I say? How do like, should I just let them touch my shoulder? It's okay. It's just my shoulder. Like, I mean, it's, but and they got so close to me. I was like, oh my God, you are so close. You're so close right now.
Yeah.
I was not comfortable.
I'm so surprised because I see you in a light of being just like so outspoken and so like, unhand me, sir, but it's interesting that even in certain situations, it's like, what do I say? What do I do? How do I move?
Yep. I really wanted to say immediately, like, why are you touching me? But I did kindly say, and he was like, oh, am I making you uncomfortable? I was like, it's not that it's uncomfortable. It's just like not necessary. Right.
It's not necessary, sir.
I don't need it.
Yeah.
But I hated having to do all that thinking.
Yeah. Right.
Date one.
Right.
And honestly, that let me know. And honestly, it was just coffee.
Yeah.
And so, but that let me know I'm not equipped to go on date 2 with you.
No.
I have to do so much program. I need to be so proactive, and I got to come up with lines to say. I got to come up with defense mechanisms. I got to come up with all kind of things that would allow me this personal space so that you don't invade it. I can't.
No. And also, like, if that's, like you said, if that's date number 1 and he has that level of entitlement, like, you're already starting, just in a bad space, right? Because you don't respect me as a woman. You don't respect my boundaries. You don't get to just be entitled to touch my shoulder, to touch my hand, to touch my knee. You're not entitled to that unless I literally, like, give you that, like, invitation, which I haven't because we're having coffee right now. So
I'm like, if you think like date 1, this, coffee we this comfortable. Yeah,
we're
date
not even
3,
at dinner. We don't even have a glass of wine in our hands.
Yeah, a glass of wine. He like, let's go upstairs. No.
Girl.
Yeah. I don't like for anybody to you can't cash my check. And I don't care. And if we have gone out, the guy that I dated for 6 months, I do remember thinking to myself, like, once it picked up, like after month 3, like the communication and the engagement, like we were hanging out more. And I was thinking, like, dang, it might gonna be time soon. Like, I gotta, is he thinking like, okay? But then I started thinking, like, why am I trying to make myself feel like I owe somebody something?
That part.
If I'm not ready, I'm not ready. And if you feel like I should be ready, we are on 2 different wavelengths over here. We've done nothing. And I still have I don't care who I'm dating. I always have a fairy tale in my head about how I would like it to go. Like, I want my first time to be out on the beach, out the country with some sand and the water and a maitre d, and
My goodness. She said, vacation me, please.
I do. What do you mean we got drunk at the bar and had sex in the car on our first time? No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
Tiff, oh my goodness. You
I-
are funny.
I always want it to be special. So I'm probably, and I told you, I'm a cart before the horse person. So I'm always kind of like planning, like, nah.
Mhm.
You know, and I had to come up with some rules too. Like, you can't come to my house if I've never been to yours.
Ooh, I like that.
No. I will go through and clean my whole house up, make sure it look. I don't even know how you live.
Yeah.
No,
See.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And once, typically once the way you start things is the way you finish. So if they start off coming over your house, then it become, hey, what's up? I'm swing through there. Oh, okay. No, you're not.
No.
No, I need to come to your house first. I need to see if you got herbal essence shampoo or if it's just Jergens, but two in one with the shampoo and conditioner. Because I just know that that's male conditioner and shampoo. But if you got herbal essence shampoo and conditioner and you bald headed, I need to know that.
Matter of fact, I don't want to be at your house. I don't want you at my house. I want us to be out doing things active, right? Because as soon as you open up that door of, oh, we can just hang out at my house.
No, we not.
Then like the floodgates open, right? Like then it's like, well, we don't gotta go out. We could just Netflix and chill at your house.
No, we
don't
cannot.
gotta do anything. Like, we could just come over. I can just come over after work. Like, no. You need to court me properly.
Yeah.
And that doesn't include like ordering takeout and coming to my crib. It's not gonna happen.
That's where having a son has come in. So it can seem like, I remember like dating when he was younger, like, oh damn, I can't go to my house. But it's protected me a lot because you can't just come to my house.
Right.
You can't even really, to me, know where I live. Because I can't just up and move if you turn crazy. We in a school district over here. So I can't just up and move. So I have to be very protected where I am in my space.
Yeah.
But I want to come to your house. I can come to your house if we get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm currently seeing, like, I'm dating.
Are you dating?
I am dating. And
the older guy, not the older, but the former guy, or a new guy?
So not the 6-month guy.
Okay.
He had too many kids. And I'm going to tell you something about me that I've learned. I have not ever really dated a person with kids.
Mm-hmm.
In my 20s, before I had a son, I dated somebody with a kid. That don't count because they wasn't taking care of their kids at that time anyway. You doing the bare minimum in your 20s, taking care of your kids anyway. So, and maybe all of y'all not. Maybe some of y'all was great fathers in your 20s. I'm not trying to say, but I'm talking about here where I was. They was weekend daddies, and that was fine with me because on your weekend, I found me something to do in my 20s. But anyway, I realized, like, I am at the age where my son is 16. He is driving himself. He work his own job. He drive his own car. He plan his own trips. He got his own life. He only looking at me for permission.
Yeah.
I am looking for you to have the same type of situation as me.
Yeah.
I legitimately don't want to hear about no kids that need you for nothing no more. I need his kids to be grown.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
And and when I say I'm dating, I am not sleeping with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Dating for me is I am getting to know you, and I'm getting to know if we are going to know each other on a deeper level than where we are right now. And so this person that I've been seeing, someone older than me. We met years ago through a dating agency.
You love to do the spin the block, you know?
Sometimes I gotta say,
Yeah,
I like to see if I think about you later, In the morning. But we have not slept together. I don't know if this man is a man or a woman when he takes his clothes off, to be honest. I believe he is all man, but there has been no proof of verification from that I can know of, and he don't know what I got. I don't know what he got. He don't know what I got. But we started off dating a few years ago through this dating agency, and at that time I just wasn't ready. I was still processing coming out of the house. I was still trying to appease like this fan base, and this is what I'm doing, and so I wasn't ready for that. So we didn't have a bad situation. It was just like, I see you're not ready, I'm going to continue doing me. Okay, cool. Now I have thought about some things, and I was like, damn, that was honestly a really tremendous person for me, because they value me. Every time we went out, we always met out somewhere. We always met out. They had never been to my house. I had never been to their house. So just recently we kind of reconnected, started hanging out, and even still, this person is not like, so when you gonna let me come over? Well, when you gonna come over my house? We are still, and we've probably gone out, I don't know, 6 dates.
Wow.
And they still haven't been like, let me see what it does. Does it, and I love it, because of course I want you to want me, and I want to be desired by you, but I also want to be valued too. And I want to know that your whole intention and goal is not just to get off on me.
Yeah.
And so, because here's the thing. Once the sex starts, the conversations slow down.
Yeah.
And I love conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So we going out on dates because I know I'm about to talk my head. I'm about to talk your head off. We about to get, I'm going to tell you all these things about me. I'm going to ask you all these questions about you. We're going to have some fun, some engagement. I'm going to leave all excited.
Yeah.
But the minute we start doing other things, then it becomes, all right, it becomes about that. And I'm not ready for it to be about that. And I need to be ready.
Yeah. So I feel like what you're saying is that I should just start dating like older men, like 50s.
No,
like...
you don't have to be 50. You're 30.
Mm-hmm.
You should date men who are established, first of all.
Right. I agree.
Not somebody who just got to where they've been trying to get all their life.
Because they're like, oh, I'm about to have some fun. I'm ripping and running.
Well,
like, I just got to,
Just think about it. If I just came and gave you $1 million, are you ready to go and give it and donate it to somebody else? You ready to give it away? No, you just got this money.
Right.
You don't even want to tell nobody you got it, because somebody going to come asking for it.
Yeah.
But if you was born with $1 million and you always had $1 million, then maybe when somebody come around, they say they need $100, you're like, here, I don't care. I always had this money. If he is established, he ain't so trying to hold on so tight to what he got. Now, I'm not saying he's not going to hold on tight to it, but he understands more that this is what is required to date. It's not about his age. It's about his experience and his expectation and his intention.
Listen, Tiff, you are preaching not just to me, but to
me
everyone else listening, because I know some of the girlies are in a similar situation as me. I'm sure.
I do think you should date. I do think you should date as many people as you are interested in getting to know. You should take your time. Don't allow them to make you feel that you're on any timetable.
Right.
Be comfortable enough to say no.
Right.
And if he makes you uncomfortable saying no, like that guy made me uncomfortable to say no.
Did you cut things off with him? Did you tell him why?
I just like, I could, and I knew he knew, because like the next day, like, you too prestigious to be messaging me the next day. Like, you just want to see if I'm still cool with you. And it's like, you are somebody that I do want to keep in my Rolodex, but not in my bedroom.
Oof. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you are useful in another area of my life, but you can't use me though.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I respect that. I respect it. I really do.
I do think you should date, and I think you should look at dating men of all ethnicities.
Oh, I'm open to it, sis. I'm open to it.
And women.
Open to that.
But definitely know their intention
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell when a person, I mean, like the one guy that I'm seeing, I'm not saying he ain't like interested. I'm not saying he don't be like, damn, can't wait till the day we know each other better. But it's also not, I also don't feel like each date is his opportunity to get closer and closer
Right.
to this day.
Right.
I do think that he's genuinely interested, and that takes a person who has actually been through something themselves.
Yeah.
That's like, I ain't looking to just be out here in the streets. Like,
Right.
he has to say that. But
Yeah.
I could talk to you all day about this,
No,
and
listen, we already talk a lot
we
about this
do.
just in general.
And I'm gonna have to talk to you offline to fill you in on
Oh
the
yeah, I want to hear.
details.
I want to hear all of it. All of
Cause the
it.
day might be about to come. No, I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
oh my
No,
goodness.
but listen,
Yeah.
seriously, I have probably thought about getting to know him on a more intimate level than maybe he has thought about it. And I'm a little more in my head feeling like I think I might be kind of ready, but I've got like certain things that I feel we haven't cracked at this for me to feel that it's time to even move to there yet. It's like I'm trying to graduate, but I still got to go through my 8th grade. And I can't just go through high school and I haven't gotten through middle school yet. Even if I think I'm ready for high school, I don't know what is in the middle yet.
Yeah.
So before I'm jumping over here, I need to make sure that I've got a full understanding of what I am actually getting into. And it's not just my physical body is ready for that. It's that we have connected on a level where I'm going to be comfortable after it's all said and done.
Yeah. And honestly, you said this earlier, but just about like making the guy or the girl, whoever it is, like your friend first,
Mm-hmm.
like, one of your besties, so that like they do have like a higher bar for how they treat you afterwards, right? There is
Yes.
some level of like, I feel accountable to you as a person because I've built all this rapport with you over the last X amount of months. So
Yes.
I love that. And I love that you don't subscribe to like, well, we've hit this day. I guess I gotta be ready. Like, no, like it revolves around us, right?
Mm-hmm.
What we want. And like, I think it's all a mindset because like, it's kind of like embarrassment, right? It's like anxiety or pressure. It's like,
Yeah,
we put that on ourselves.
we do.
Like, because we can completely ignore the fact that they might want something different. It's just like, I don't need to put that anxiety on myself.
Girl, because I have even had situations where, I'm older, so I've lived. I have had
Mm-hmm.
situations where a guy has been like, damn, I wasn't even expecting that. You wasn't. So why was I? What was I? It's like we can put those thoughts in our head and think like, okay, It's probably about that time. I'm gonna just go because I don't want him. And then he wasn't even thinking that he was gonna be able to know you that way.
Yeah.
Well, we will finish or continue this conversation later on in the future because I feel like this is a to be continued segment. And we didn't even chip away at all the
Right.
others. But
Right.
Chanelle, you are an amazing person. And sometimes we think that we are supposed to be somewhere or with someone. And I do respect and admire those people who don't just use people to hold a place in their lives.
Yeah.
Sometimes in some people, there are situations where we need the alone time to grow and to understand. And I have looked at the times in my life where I have had people in my life that I have been like, why in the hell did I have them there? Was it just so that I could have somebody
Mhm.
versus I love that. I have been single and free and clear minded, and ain't nobody been in my bed, so that now when I'm dating, I am ready. I'm healed.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
tell everyone where they can find you, Miss Chanel Howell.
Yes. You guys can find me on Instagram, Chanel Howell, TikTok, Chanel.Howell. And if you're interested in any career coaching, careertrackconsulting.com.
I love that.
Thanks,
She's
babe.
phenomenal. Y'all reach out to Chanel. Follow her journey. It's amazing.
Oh, you're the sweetest. I love you.
I love you too.